بسم الله الرحمن بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه أجمعين. Alhamdulillah, this is our first recorded session. We are working on the project Bunyaan, which is peer-to-peer lending solution on blockchain, through which we're implementing the concept of musharaka, the Islamic concept of musharaka. So inshallah, we hope that this will be of benefit to everyone who watches, and inshallah, we believe that that this project is, if nothing else, it's the start of a much greater initiative to start thinking about and using our knowledge and using our expertise for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to start thinking about solutions to the problems that Muslims face in the 21st century. So, as we said, the Bunyaan project is a peer-to-peer lending solution on blockchain, and inshallah, we hope that it will address the mortgage problem and the riba and the interest problem that Muslims face when they try to purchase a house. There have been many other attempts, and there have been many great initiatives by different Islamic banks and financial institutions, and this is simply an extension of the efforts made by those brothers and sisters. And may Allah Azza wa Jal grant all of us the tawfiq to do what pleases Him. So we have Brother Ahmad here and Brother Muhammad Umair. Some of the basically two of the core members of the project, and my name is Suhail Marunesi. So inshallah, we don't want to make this about ourselves, so we'll skip introductions. These are our names, and inshallah. So right now, what we're talking about the milestones. Inshallah, we're planning to have a proof of concept that is presentable by the end of January. We have done a lot, but there's still a lot that needs to be done. There have been a few bugs that we have found in our code base, and there are a few features that we want to implement. So we are currently just talking about those bugs and those features and the milestones and what we need to do to get to accomplish our goals, basically. So back to where we were, Brother Ahmed. So basically what we are trying to do is obviously, inshallah, have a presentable proof of concept by the end of January, which requires us to make changes in the back end and the front end. So we were thinking, Brother Umair suggested that, I believe, Brother Umair, you were referring to having user stories, right? For example, the user, what they want to do on the user interface. They want to have a place where they can go and become partner, or they want to have a place to go and see all the requests for loans and so forth, right? So once we have the good understanding of what users want to do and a good understanding of the user interface, then Brother Umair was suggesting that we can have the corresponding backend APIs, which will basically do all the hard work, all the the blockchain work in the backend. Was that correct? Represent, or did I rephrase your statements correctly, Brother Umair?
Yes, brother, I believe so.
Okay. So I'm Brother Ahmed, inshallah, will be the project manager. Brother Ahmed, so this is the this is when it comes to the features that we want to implement, the additional features that we want to implement. But when it comes to bugs, we already have a few bugs that we have identified. So between now and the end of January, we have about 70 days, right? So, and currently we have a total, I believe, of bugs and features combined, 5 bugs and features combined. So at this point, if we were to divide the work, and obviously the reason we are spending this much time on only five features on bugs is because of resources. We don't have we all work, we have full-time jobs. I mean, the brothers have families, so we cannot dedicate a lot of time to this at every single day. So we are trying to come up with a realistic milestone, um, milestone, or a deadline. So the deadline, inshallah, will be the end of January. And if we were to divide the work, uh, it would be like perhaps 12 days or 15 days for every bug slash feature, right? To resolve every bug slash feature. And obviously we'll try to work faster, but it's good to give ourselves some cushion, to work with in case things we want to in case we want to fix or in case we come across more bugs, or in case we want to have more features implemented. And we're using the XP software development process to accomplish our goals. Okay, so with that said, Brother Ahmed, did you have anything to add?
No, Jazakallah khair, Suhail. I mean, I'm still coming up to speed on best practices with the project management for apps or code or anything on the software side. I did take an action down and still working on just adding in to-dos and using the features within GitHub for helping us organize, but also add inshallah a Google folder for us to keep minutes and other items and stored there if it's not meant to be stored on GitHub.
Yes, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. Yes, so now what we will do, inshallah, we'll go over some of the bugs that we have identified, and we'll try to fix one of the bugs. I think we'll try to find us an easier one, so we can basically we can complete it on time. I believe this is Brother Ahmed. Did you drop off?
No, actually, I switched over to Chrome, so I can
Okay.
have a blurred background.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so let's start with one of these simple bugs. So this is our repo, and this is public, so anyone can go and check the code base. So the issue is that obviously we want to add a NoSQL database, and this will be a task that Brother Abdul Wahid will complete, inshallah. He's not on the call right now, but he's also another core team member. The second one is hiding the become partner. So this is a UI related bug, which we can skip for now. And so this is a bug that I think we can fix, hopefully, inshallah, within the next 40 minutes that we have. So if I go ahead and run to understand this, the description, I think we should go ahead and run the blockchain. Okay, so this is our blockchain right here, right? And this is very simple. We just want to get the the meat of it complete, or the logic of it, and then we'll work on making the UI look good as well. Actually, that's one of the things that we will try to do before our deadline, our January end of January deadline. Yes, Brother Ahmed, you have your hand up, or perhaps that was by mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, brother, are you sharing your screen?
Oh yes, that's a good call out. Yeah, let me do that right now. Okay, can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so okay, so let me just, I guess it'll be a good idea to quickly go over the code base. Basically we're using Django um, to for the project. We obviously we're writing the blockchain in Python, and for the front end we're using React. Um, and we have included all the classes here in the modules folder, and all of our API endpoints are here. So whoever is interested, they can go and take a look at the code base. And obviously, um, because there's a lot of refactoring that needs to be done, so I just want to make a disclaimer. But inshallah, alhamdulillah, we have gotten it into a functioning state. So right now, if I so I just ran the blockchain, and to run the blockchain, obviously to actually see this UI, not only do we have to run the blockchain, but we also have to run the front end, right? So with the front end, we used npm start to start a React front end, which is connected basically to the blockchain port. So this is how it looks like. This is the Genesis. And this is the first block, basically, which is called the Genesis block, I believe. But so the bug that we're trying to fix right now is the block cards which show in Bunyaan's homepage do not populate the previous hash. So we need to find out why and fix it. So let's go back to our, so here, this is what it's talking. So you see how we have the hash, but the previous hash is not populated. So first of all, with this, in this case, in this scenario, I guess the Genesis block would not have a previous hash, right? So let's go ahead and create a new block and see whether that issue will still be present. So let's say, for example, I mean, in this case, you would add a real wallet address here, but since we're just testing, I'm just gonna put a random, some random characters. So once you add a transaction, you get a pending transaction in your pending transactions list, and then if you mine this transaction, you end up having a second block, right? So with the second block, there's no way. I mean, the second block should have had the previous hash, right? Now, why isn't the previous hash showing? This is a bug that we need to fix. So if we go back to the front end folder, let's see. Oh, this is Brother Ayub joining. Okay. So if you go back to the front end folder, you will see that where's the front end? Right here. So you'll see that we have the index.js, app.js, and then we have the components. That particular this particular page is showing blocks, right? So let's go ahead and navigate our way to where the data from the blocks comes from. So if you go to app.js, we see that we're making an API call to get chain, which is an API endpoint in the backend and the blockchain, and this basically returns the whole blockchain, all of the blocks, right? And then what happens is we are returning the nav bar. So we go to the nav bar component, and then within the nav bar component, we have our routers and all the good stuff. So depending on depending on where we are. In this case, we are in the home directory, right? This is the first page that we go to. So this is home. So in that case, we go to the home component, and we see that in the home component, we have blocks in blockchain, which is right here, blocks and blockchain. And then we have this description, which can also be found in the home component. And then we see that we are simply returning some blocks below them. So this tells us that we need to go to the blocks component. And in the blocks component, this is where the problem is, right? What's happening is this previous hash is not being set to the previous hash. Now we have to figure out why that is. Why isn't the previous hash being set? If you look, so basically this block is the block object that we received from the blockchain, and we are assuming that the name of the previous hash the name of the previous hash field is prev_hash, right? This is an assumption, or this is something perhaps something was changed. Initially it was previous hash and now it's something different, but we need to confirm. Obviously this is not returning anything, right? So we need to go back to the back end, and basically all the API endpoints are in view.py, but FYI, for if you guys were wondering, all the API endpoints are here. So as I mentioned earlier, the way we're getting these blocks is by calling getChain. So I will go ahead and try to find getChain. Okay, so getChain, this is the endpoint that we're calling. And what are we doing here? So so if the Genesis block, yeah, we can skip, and then okay, so you should already see what the problem is, right? How is the previous hash spelled? Is it prev_hash, or it's previous hash, right?
Yeah.
So that's the bug right here. So what we have to do is, this turns out we can either change it in the backend, but I think it would be easier to just go ahead and change it in the front end. So where was it? It was in blocks, right? So all we have to do, hopefully this is gonna fix our problem, right? So one of the things about React is it updates live. So if this does fix our problem, we should immediately see the hash. So let me go ahead and save it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yes, it worked. You guys see it? It's magic. And this is the fun part. Yes.
Question, like I'm not super familiar. There's no like compiler checks for using a wrong property?
So the thing is, like with the when React is talking to the backend, if React assumes that a JSON object has a particular field and it doesn't, it'll just basically it will just if it's not there, it will just return empty, right? This is done, and this is also done in runtime, right? So it's because React wouldn't know whether there is such a field or not until it starts running and calling the API.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Makes sense. So that was basically parsing through JSON and looking for that.
Yeah.
Got
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, so that's we already fixed one bug. That was quick. I thought it's gonna take us 40 minutes. So I guess we can tackle another one if you guys want, or if you guys want, we can start the floor to questions about the code base. And brother Ayub, we are recording this session, inshallah, because some of the brothers requested updates, and they requested that we record these sessions, and we thought we should. First of all, Assalamu alaikum. Sorry.
Wa alaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I joined late. Seems, mashallah, you guys made a lot of there's a lot of things happening that I wasn't aware of, mashallah. So I would just like to get updated, or at least like I'm onboard me to what's going on, at least so I can have a bit of an understanding, inshallah.
Inshallah. So it's okay. We can actually repeat it because I think some of the brothers who are watching, maybe we didn't do a good job of explaining at the beginning of what we are trying to do. So obviously, that one of the biggest challenges that we face as Muslims in the West is buying homes without you know without riba, right? Uh, uh, and this has become very difficult. There have been many financial institutions, Islamic banks, and financial institutions who are also working to address this problem that we're facing. But we try to tackle this problem from a slightly different angle. Instead of having Islamic banks, or instead of having like institutions that are somehow centralized grant loans, we thought maybe we should have a peer-to-peer lending system that's run on blockchain, which means that we are not limited to private investors, and we're not governed by a central body, right? The blockchain is in control, right? So I think with these two aspects of the project, or these two features, open so many different doors, and we are simply just scratching the surface, I believe. But we thought we should at least start this conversation, and even start this conversation, uh, so that at the very least, um, you know, we can, I guess I'm repeating the same thing. We can start the conversation, right? The point of starting a conversation is to start this conversation, because how we can use our expertise, or obviously I myself, I'm not an expert, but I'm working towards the every day that goes by, I learn more, and I'm able to contribute more based on the new things that I learn. So at least start a conversation about how we, who are in tech, or who are professionals, can use their expertise for a divine cause, for a cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not simply, obviously it's all good with the companies we work for, we have to be uh, as Muslims, we have to do our job, and contribute, and make sure that the company is successful. But not we should not we should make sure that our expertise, the zakat of our expertise, is given as well, right? The zakat of our expertise is us using our expertise to further the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to solve the problems that the ummah have, right? In our case, we are using we most of us are engineers. I know Brother Ayub, you're studying computer science as well. We're using our what we have learned in school and at work to start and inshallah complete this project, and provide it as an open source solution to whoever wants to build on it, to be honest with you. So now we are doing this by we are writing this in Python. We are writing the blockchain in Python, and to make it easier, we decided to use Django because it makes it adding a front end and many other features are made easier when using Django. Obviously, during our research, we found that Python is on the top 5 on the list of top 5 languages that are used to write blockchain. So that was another reason why we chose Python. I'm not sure, Brother Ahmed, whether you were part of that vote, but Brother Ahmed, I believe you remember that we voted on which language to use, and we decided to use Python first and foremost because it was one of the top 5 languages that are used to write blockchain and cryptocurrency. And secondly, it's a language that these days most people know about and actually have some sort of experience with. It's a very popular language in universities and boot camps and in data science and many different in machine learning and many different fields. And also we're using React, which is a front end framework to basically write the user interface, to present the user, have the user interface. With that said, Brother Ayub, do you have any other questions? I know the details we haven't touched upon yet, but I think that will come with time, inshallah.
No. Jazakallah khair, mashallah. You explained it very well. And I remember the conversations we had before. So this was just like a refresher for me, alhamdulillah. And it's
Yes.
I was reading about peer-to-peer review for one of my classes the other day. So
MashaAllah.
I don't know much.
Yeah.
Like I what you're saying now makes sense. I'm like, oh yeah, that can be a way of approaching this problem, inshallah. Jazakallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
And I just wanted to ask if you can send me links to documentations and anything. Do we have anything written down for the infrastructure so I can know, like, how far we've gone and what research we've done?
Yes, so we have a one-pager that's in the description of our WhatsApp channel, and if you send me your email, I will give you access to the tech specs or the white paper for the project. We are still actually modifying the white paper, but I think it's the core concept is there, so you could read the white paper as well. But yeah, inshallah, we were hoping to have Brother Nasser as well, so he could. For those of you, Brother Ayub, can you remind me the exact major that Brother Nasser is studying for?
Brother Nasser is a finance major.
Yeah. So actually, he could contribute a lot to this project as well. So inshallah, we can have him during our next calls as well.
Of course.
But yeah, so Brother Ayub, just look at. I'll send you the link to the repo as well. Look at some of the bugs that are there. We just fixed one right now, as you saw. And feel free if you have any questions about the code or how it works, just you can text me directly. But basically, that's pretty much the project in short.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. I'll get on to it now. Inshallah, I don't think I'll be able to contribute as much right now with school and everything, but in the winter, if I have time, I'll be able to like look through it and see and contribute. I'll join these meetings just for the sake of getting onboarded and seeing how far we've gone. But there's a lot for me to learn, so I'll just a heads up for everyone, inshallah.
Okay, sounds good, inshallah. No worries. I mean, even I think your comments and your insight, even that is appreciated. So, and as you know, as I tell people who I talk to, you don't necessarily have to if you don't know how to for example, write code, or if you don't feel comfortable enough to contribute, you don't have to. You can, like you said, you can just come and join these calls, get comfortable, get onboarded, and eventually, inshallah, it will be easy, and you'll be able to do it. But for you, Brother Ayub, you're already a computer science major, so it shouldn't be a major issue to get up to speed. Cool. Brother Umair and Brother Ahmed. Sorry, go ahead, Brother.
I'm gonna have to hang up, but I just wanted to say Jazakallah khair for starting this, and inshallah I'll be able to contribute like you said.
Inshallah. Wa iyyak. Barakallah fiqh, Brother Ayub. Inshallah, we'll talk later.
Okay. Assalamu
alaikum. Assalam. Okay, brothers. How should we I think we should spend the next few minutes at least going over the roadmap, or we can tackle another bug, try to fix another bug. I think you can decide whichever one you want us to do.
Well, we could, but I guess probably would be best to make sure we have some time to discuss the roadmap. But I did have
Okay.
a question. I kind of, when I was messaging with you yesterday,
Yeah.
and you kind of mentioned before about like a PR and if there's best
Mm,
practices and things for me to read up on. So if people do
mm.
want to contribute, we're not we're not going to mess anything up. So yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be now, but sometime, inshallah, we can talk about that tonight.
Yeah, inshallah. Definitely. Actually, that's a good point. We should come up with a naming convention as well for our PR. So there's a lot that needs to be done. It's a good point you brought up. We need to come up with a naming convention. We need to to be honest with it, at this point it's hard to have we don't have many reviewers, so it'll be hard to require um, more than one reviewer to approve a PR before it's merged. You know what I mean? Because usually that's how it's done. Like usually, I'm not sure how you guys do it in your company, brother Ahmed, but there needs to be someone who reviews a PR before it can be merged, right? And at this point, just due to the lack of resources, that's not something we can add to the process. Uh, but I agree. We should come up with steps, like detailed steps on the naming conventions, how to push a PR, and how usually what companies do is you have a PR name, and then you have the number of the issue. For example, this issue right here is issue number 4, right? So if I was to write a PR for this, I would uh, call it a name and then say issue number 4, blah blah blah. So those are all things that we need to come up with. Inshallah, that's an action item I can work on. Or brother Ahmed, I'm not sure if you want to
Yeah,
work on that.
yeah. I was gonna say, brother, like actually at this point, because the team is so small, I think we should start delineating responsibilities of who's gonna work on what. Right? Like,
Mm,
to be very honest, I don't think I'll be working on the blockchain itself anytime.
mm,
Right? Like, I'll probably be working on the front end, doing the mobile app, or I can work on the designs. Similarly,
mm,
Brother Ahmed, I don't think he's going to be coding anytime soon. Uh,
mm.
Forgive me, Brother Ahmed, if I'm speaking on your
No, no, no.
right. So,
Yeah, for me, it's still still a hobby.
yeah, and Brother Ayub, like again, he's not programmed. So I feel like a lot of our time would be initially wasted.
Mm,
We set up processes which we don't have enough people to man, really. Right?
mm,
There's and then even so, like, going over code, I think is not that beneficial if not everybody's going to be coding, right? So I think
mm,
at this point we should delineate responsibilities. And Brother Ahmed, like, for example, for the project planning purposes, I don't think it's super necessary for you to know at this point. Obviously, as we go through the process, like 6 months, year down the road, you'll get accustomed to these terms, like, well, now developers talk like what PRs, etc. are. But I think back to the original plan, let's talk about, like, what our goal is. Okay, we're going to build this functionality in the UI. Let the users do this. So for that, we're going to need designs, right? So that let's delineate, like, who's going to be working on designs, who's going to work on Figma, right? And let's have a dedicated person. And these meetings, I feel we should use to just use as, like, sort of like stand-ups, or what milestones were met. Like, for example, if we have like 3 buckets, we need designs, we need an app or front-end UI, and we need some back-end APIs, right? And then we have one person per each. Like, Brother Sohail has been working on the blockchain, mashallah, doing a great job. Let's have him continue on that. If you want to take up front end, that's great too. Somebody else does Figma, and I can try it out. If I'm just putting it out there. And then
yeah.
these calls, we kind of discuss, okay, this is what we said we'll do, this is what's done, and this is what's next. And if there's
Mm,
any blockers or any interactions that we need to have, like, in person, like, for example, since you're going to be doing the APIs, if I have any specific questions about the APIs, or once you come back and you have what the request and response looks like for the API, right? You can
mm,
share that, and then you can go over that and see, like, okay, like, is this what I expect? Is this what I need from the UI to make
mm.
it functional? Because, like,
Yeah.
like, if everybody goes over the same code, we're not going to make leaps of progress. I
Hard.
feel the team size is not there yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with Brother Ahmed. I think that's a valid point. So I think what we should do um, is just I think we're gonna have to add a few more GitHub issues, maybe a couple more, and with every issue, we'll put either front end or back end, right? That's to make it clear, and then maybe maybe the front end can be assigned to Brother Umair for the design and everything, and then the backend bugs and features can be assigned to me, and then you can basically, based on our timeline, um, we can divide those tasks and bugs and have different iterations. And after every iteration, so we'll continue having these calls, but after each iteration, we'll have what do you call these calls after each iteration? We'll have like a recap call to assess what we did and what we need to do next, right? So I guess if you could work on that, that would be great.
Is it? I was gonna say, if we have some time and there's nothing to do, we can work on that in tandem right now, and that way we can leave with some understanding of what we need to come back with next week.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
You want to share your Brother Ahmed? You want to share your screen, or
So if you can tell, probably I'm on my phone.
okay.
My laptop. I have my laptop open, but it's I didn't connect to it through
I
there
can
yet.
share my screen if
Okay.
that's okay. Brother Sohail, do you have a space for us? Like, do you want to create a Google Doc, share the link? I could just pull. We can just write our notes there, and then maybe for actual tasks, should we use some sort of like a ticketing system, and you can move the cards along for or Trello maybe?
Yeah, I mean we can use a ticketing system, but Brother Abdul Wahid had some restraints about using anything other than GitHub issues. Perhaps we can. I don't remember exactly why he said he would rather use GitHub issues, but let's talk about that a bit more later when he's on the call.
Sounds good. And Brother Abdul Wahid, he's going to be working on like the code. Is he a developer?
He's gonna be working on the NoSQL, adding a database to the project.
Sounds good. So I was going to say, I think we should differentiate what the devs use versus what like on a higher level project management should be. Like for Brother Ahmed, like for example, like that should be really like tracking the tasks on a high level, like, right, web phase one, this is what the designs, and this is the person that will be working on it. Brother Sohail, this is what you would be working. So that would be like a high level for the project manager, really, right? And that's what we can use to start our conversations in these meetings. Hey, this is the state of where everything in the project is, and the developers could be using like like issues or whatever else that makes sense for people that are working on specific parts of the code. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, at least for me, I feel like organically, I'm gonna learn that while at least for now, alhamdulillah, inshallah khair. I mean, we're small and there's not too many issues. So while you guys can help with making certain what actually the naming is of the issues that you're putting in, and how things are broken up, I can understand better how to lay it out as far as the project goes and help with these meetings and discussions and just trying to understand where everybody is kind of status and everything.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think this is a good onboarding for you as well to get familiar with like software like CS terminology and programming terminology and all of that. Yeah, okay, sounds good. So I just shared that doc with you guys. We can call it anything. I called it I don't know, Bunyaan Weekly or something.
Okay, so I don't know if I have. edit access to this. I think I do. I don't.
I think. Oh, one sec. I may. Yeah. Sorry, it should. Okay. Now you should. Can you try again?
Let's see. Not yet. Okay, now I do.
Okay. Can you also share your screen?
Yes.
To get a chance.
Yep. So share my screen. I might have to end the call and come back because it's asking for access.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to change your settings first.
I'll quit and reopen. Give me a second. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. All right, can type. So yeah. So for the POC, actually the POC is create so
Can you zoom in
yeah.
a little bit, Brother Amir?
How's this? Good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
So the POC is to create user interface and functionality to allow users to view loans, create loans, and fund loans. Once a loan is funded, the borrower can start making payments that will be distributed to the lenders based on the shares. Right. That's
Very good. Yeah.
right. So that's kind of the scope
Of this project, of this POC. Yeah. We
yeah.
we can include the assumptions. So the assumptions, we're assuming this, all of that. Yeah.
Right. And again, this is rough. Like we can clean this document up. So assumptions.
Do we have that from the spec sheet, bro? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the spec sheet has the like the white paper has like the whole thing, you know, from beginning to end. So even the assumptions are, we've tried to kind of mention them in details. Like we're not assuming anything in the white paper, but in the proof of concept, we are just trying to prove the concept programmatically. We're not concerned with how the escrow will work, how payments will, how the title will be transferred. All of those details that have to do with the real estate and not necessarily like coding and programming. There will be assumptions in the proof of concept. Like we'll assume that escrow has interacted with the blockchain and payment has been made, and we'll assume that the title has been transferred, and now the borrower will start paying rent to the lenders.
Okay. Actually, all I meant was I didn't want Brother Ahmed to have to rewrite something out that we have written out.
Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry, I thought you were like specifically asking about these, the assumptions, and I don't know, that was an assumption on my part, so I apologize.
No, I didn't want to cut you off. Did you happen to share that document with me as well? No?
Yeah, it's actually, I shared it in the Hangouts. The Hangouts chat.
Okay.
So on a high level, this is what we need to do. The Bunyaan blockchain functionality, right? APIs that need to be created for the UI clients, right? And create a web interface for the POC. And should we add additionally mobile client?
Yeah, if we have time, we can add mobile.
To be honest, that's where I'll be able to do some work. So we'll just.
So that, I mean, if we stretch you like to, but okay, so you do you think does that mean you will not be able to contribute to the web UI, Brother Ahmed?
So the thing is, for the web UI, I'm not experienced in that. Like I have, so I can try and I can take time to learn it, but I won't be very efficient in that.
Okay. So okay. So basically, if you're running the blockchain on a server, like if you're, for example, if you're hosting it on your Mac and it's open to the public, and I think we can. It's fine. We can actually having an iOS app that interacts with the blockchain is actually a big plus. I guess yeah, you could do that. I'll continue working on the web UI, Brother Ahmed. But if you guys know anyone who wants to contribute and has React experience, please let me know. Let us know, Brother Ahmed. You may know a lot of people in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I can talk to people who want. So you're doing it in React, or are you using any other framework like Angular or anything? Just pure React?
Just React, yeah. Just React, and I believe React is like the most popular right now. So
makes sense. So what else do we need to put here? So should we assign like people and then break each of these into tasks?
Yes.
So
and let's also have the iterations, like the length of each iteration and which tasks we'll try to complete in each iteration.
So task breakdown. So you said like let's have iterations for each of these, or
no? After we have the tasks, then we will have iterations. Yeah.
So for one, which is so this would be like, so here's where all the bugs go for you, correct, brother?
Yeah, the bugs will go there too. Yeah, and also
what we could do here is link your, so instead of like typing everything here or putting all of that here, we could just And then what are the features that are remaining?
The features are the pay rent API, and basically that API involves like some work in the back end, some logic in the back end, to distribute, create transactions for each lender, and basically the amount that transactions that will send money to the lender's wallets, and the amount that will be sent to them will be proportional to the percentage they let the borrower borrow. So.
Okay. Anything else that's remaining for the POC?
There's a bug. Oh, we're just talking about functionality, or there's another bug that's not listed. I'll add that bug to the GitHub issues. But that bug is seems like there's a race condition when we have multiple nodes. At the beginning, they broadcast blocks and update each other very smoothly. But then once the blockchain becomes somewhat large, by the time we try to get the chain from neighbor nodes before their chain is complete, or something like that, where basically we end up not getting the most updated chain from the node with the longest chain. So that's something else I need to fix as well.
Makes sense. Actually, designs for one of the tasks I missed here is designs for like web mobile, right? That's something that we'll have to take up. Should I rename this for API documentation? Because APIs, you're already building part of this, correct?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So, API documentation. So is this something that you'll be working on, Brother Sahil?
And the blockchain, yeah, the backend for the blockchain, I'll be working on. Obviously, if anyone else, we can find someone else who wants to contribute to it. That would be great. But for the time being, since we don't have many people, we can just.
Okay. So and then API for API documentation, and this is something I think initially you'll be working on. I mean, as this is just like iterations, right? Like every time we meet, we can re-update and reevaluate where we are. So is it fair to say, like, for now, this is something that you'll be taking on as well? Should I just right here?
So we can add the API documentation there as well, but that's I think that's not high priority.
Right.
So we can give them priority points, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. So should we just list them in order then? Should we? Do you think this is the second or thing that should go in parallel?
Design for web mobile. So that what else do we have? Host the blockchain to make it public available. I think create a web interface. I think that would be also second in the list, because when we were presenting to the masajid, most people who will run our demo will be using web. They probably wouldn't use a mobile app to test the So I think the create a web interface would be second, and then the mobile web would be third.
Yeah. So what I was saying, brother, like the web interface should have some designs, like what that would. So this is like web/mobile. Like we can even.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Like
For sure.
Yeah. That's designs for us to kind of build a UI, right? Or do you just like go with the flow and build it as.
No, that's good. That's good. I think that if we can have someone who can, because I'm really bad at designing.
To be,
Maybe you could design it and from for iOS, and that would give me a good idea of how to design it and React as well.
to be
Would
honest,
that work?
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not sure if you guys are still seeing my screen. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So I've worked with this brother for a long time, and he's very good with Figma, and he does design. So this, you remember I was saying like there's another non-profit that I was having him design the
yeah,
website. So
yeah.
these were the designs actually. Just these couple of days I was reviewing with him, right? So he
Yeah, Amar. Yeah.
basically did these designs. So what I was hoping for is we can have something similar that would like at
Mm,
least like highlight what we want to build. Like having design, all in my opinion, always clarifies what we're building. So we can
mhm,
imagine like something like existing loans, uh,
mm,
start contributing, and then there's an option for you to either create your own loan or start view the existing loans that are there and start contributing and submit an amount and how much you want. So all of that like needs some sort of like designs, right, for us to
yeah,
something that we're going to present. So
yeah,
and then we can ask him both for web and mobile. Again, the web would be priority. uh, he is
yeah,
though and I can just like work with him, and I can take care of that side. I can uh,
yeah,
but I was suggesting let's have something like that for our POC,
for
in
sure.
order
Yeah.
to make it like kind of like presentable, and that's what
No,
we
yeah.
build on both like the React side and also on mobile if we get there.
No, I agree. I think that's a good idea. Does the brother charge? How much does he charge, or does he? How is the nature of our interaction with him?
So he's currently in Pakistan, and
Okay,
for this one, for this everything here, and he's gonna do like mobile designs as well. Uh,
okay,
he charged like 700. But again, like we can work with him. Maybe we don't need something this fancy and do a
yeah,
little less. But anyways, like the amount side, I can take care of them. I've worked with him, quite a bit, so I can pay him. That's not a problem. But inshallah, this will be something I think that's beneficial. And these have a lot more designs, and he's gonna be working on it a lot more. Like this has like maybe for our initial POC, like we don't need as much, right?
mhm,
So this
yeah,
right. So
yeah.
we can have
So
yeah, you
go
guys.
ahead, brother. No, I was gonna say, just wanted to give you a quick update regarding the nonprofit status. We have our EIN number, and we are not seeking, but we are also have a bank account for the institution, like a business bank account for the nonprofit. So I think once we start presenting, we'll get donations, so we can use inshallah we can use donations to fund some of these projects as well. But for the time being, we're just not there yet.
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
Yeah. Inshallah, this like whatever we do now is we can do it at our scale. Inshallah, when things scale up, then we can uh, go with what you're suggesting. But inshallah, for now, like what I can do is, again, I'm not sure if he's even available to because he has a full-time job. On top of that, he's doing other freelance work. So I'm not sure like how
yeah,
much he'd be able to do. What I can do is like, because I own these designs, I can just like even like copy paste this and rename some
mm,
stuff, move things around. And that's why I was saying like I
mm,
can maybe take up this action. Actually, like while we are just talking to play around with Figma, I was just like looking at something, right? Like to make something
yeah,
basic and how that would look like. The idea of having designs really for me is clarity in what we're building, right? Like when you look
hmm,
at designs, it makes you think about like, okay, what kind of APIs you'll need and what those requests and responses need to be, like what kind of data you'll be passing, and and then overall, like even if you don't have the product working fully, like just by looking at the designs or sharing the designs, you can communicate your vision better. And
yes, very
that's why,
true.
for example, this website is not live, but like if I walked you through this website, you'll understand what's going on. Again, this is just like a charity
Mm,
website, so it's fairly straightforward. Nothing, no rocket science there. But that goes for
yeah,
any Like once you have designs, like you can communicate what the end project is, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, definitely. Inshallah, even if he charges, and I can definitely pitch in some money as well if we get to that stage. But if we want to just use what you have and just make some modifications to accommodate, make it suitable for our project, inshallah, that's fine as well. But I definitely think I agree with your idea, having that's why, like, whenever people, if you've seen, like, when imams or community members are trying to raise donations for a mosque, the first thing they have is a very nice fancy picture of the mosque, you you know. So I think this is the same thing, right? Like having something to show, this is how it's going to look when it's done.
Right. So yeah, I agree. I think what we can start with is what I have, and start converting it over using some pieces like that's already there, like copy paste, try to make it work in Figma. And I can do something like over the next couple of weeks as you work on this stuff, and then we can, see if we need like more refinements, then we can bring him on. How does this
Okay,
sound?
sounds good, inshallah.
So then back to the prioritization of the tasks. So the number one remains obviously the blockchain, which is like somewhat sub broken down here. The next thing that can run in parallel is designs, like for the whole thing, like what things are going to look like. First on web, and then maybe a stretch goal could be also for mobile. Uh,
Hmm.
and the third thing would be to implement this on the web, correct?
Hmm.
Implement
Yes.
designs. So, and then would the API documentation come before or after that? Like in my opinion, it should come before that, because like, or
Before the no, definitely before, it will be before, it will be after the design is done. Then we'll have a good idea of what APIs we need,
yep.
and then we'll implement the APIs, right?
And then hosting the blockchain, publicly making this available. This is again something that can happen in parallel. Like, this doesn't,
Hmm.
we just need to start
Yeah,
the server, keep it running, and maybe not
yeah,
run it on local host, because I think right now the instructions run it on local host,
yeah.
or
Yes, yeah. The README says on localhost, and and just to for people who are watching this, um, uh, we so there are many different like each instance how this is hard to explain. So we can run many different blockchains or nodes. Each node will be running an instance of the blockchain. Okay, that's the best way of explaining it, brother Ahmad. I think this is how you you phrase your question. Each node is running an instance of the blockchain, and these instances are constantly talking to each other, right? So when we say that we will host a blockchain, we mean that we'll have one node um, that will be interactable by the UI. You know, so the UI will be able to interact with this one node, and obviously we can have a bunch of different nodes as well that interact with this one node, and these other nodes can have their UIs as well, or we can have one UI that interacts with all the nodes. So there are so many different ways that so many different combinations that we can come up with. But what Brother Omar is talking about is just a simple one node. We just want to get the basics out of the way. Have one node and have a user interface that's able to interact with that one node and create transactions, mine transactions, and create blocks. And basically, our transactions and our blocks will contain the Musharaka smart contracts and the transactions that will interact with the Musharaka smart contract, and also the regular transactions that may be needed. Okay, just wanted to clarify that for the people who are watching, Brother Omar.
sounds good, brother. And I think I need to jump off actually. I need to head to
Okay.
the masjid for the halakha. But
Yes.
obviously, this is a shared document, and Brother Ahmed also has access to it. And since he, anyways, is the project manager, so I think what we can do is hand this over to Brother Ahmed. And is it are we good to go? So for next week, the goal is I'll try to come with something on the web, like some designs, and Brother Sohail to continue on this work here.
Mhm.
Correct?
Yes, inshallah. Yes, yes, yes. That is true. Sorry, I wasn't sure whether you were asking me a question or you're just
No,
stating
no,
the fact.
I was just asking.
Okay, yes. No, that is true, inshallah. Oh, and also, since you have to go, um, just quickly, there's something else that we wanted to implement in the UI is to give the uh, different, not necessarily people who are running a node, but people who just want to use the blockchain, who you want to use Bunyaan, right, to borrow money. Just creating different usernames, right? Having having a way for people to sign up and then sign in before they can just randomly ask
Okay.
for yeah.
So actually, because of the shortness of time, I didn't list the different things that should be on the web UI.
Yeah.
And that's why I like put like coming soon. I'll fill this out inshallah, and like after
Okay.
the call whenever I get to it. But yeah, that's the goal. What I was already starting to look into, like what are the main things that we're going to be doing, viewing available loans and how you can participate, log in, sign up, and that kind of stuff. So inshallah, I'll fill that out. Like what kind of functions the UI needs to support. So I'll fill in
Okay.
this list here, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. And yeah, the brother Omar, you can drop off whenever you have to. But I just wanted to mention something to brother Ahmed as well. So brother Ahmed, if you could, once brother Omar adds these additional points, I think if it would be great if you could, you know, come up with the iterations and the timelines and basically keep us on track. And then once you get familiar with the terminologies that we're using and all these, you know, computer science stuff, then you can actually take full lead. I guess you know, it depends on you. I just don't want to, you know, make you uncomfortable. You're muted, I think.
I am muted, yeah. Jazakallah khair, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. There's a learning curve there. And yeah, and I'll take a look at the Google Doc and work to lay that out a bit better so that we can keep track of things. One, I guess my first question, trying to come up to speed, is with when you say iterations, would that be, say we have these 4 issues listed out, or four assignments or actions? Is iteration 1 we completed, like we got partway through one of these or both of these, or did make progress on any? Is it like
Yeah.
could you explain it a little bit more, I guess?
Yes. So because so ideally, like each iteration will complete fixing a bug, complete a task. Unless if some things go south, then basically we'll have to readjust or reassess. But usually, if a task is too large, it will be broken down into different smaller subtasks, just so we can. At the end of each iteration, there's something that we need to show something, right? If the task is too large to complete in a single iteration, we'll divide that task into subtasks and make sure that we complete those subtasks. Um, so in our case, because we don't have that many resources, I know for like 4 bugs and maybe 2 features in 70 days, it's a lot. You know, it's just maybe 7 days is too long, but we just don't have enough resources to work on those.
Yeah,
So you can actually divide the iterations based on the completion and not you know, halfway done, being halfway done. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, would I have to just come up with define like these discrete like sub actions or within
Yeah.
each, so that I
No,
can
I
call
think
them at different iterations, or?
yes. I don't think we need to make it that complicated. So let's and at least in our case, obviously in a
Yeah.
big company like they would, but in our case, we have 70 days, and let's say we have 7 bugs slash tasks. We can dedicate every 10 days to one of those bugs and to one of those tasks. Does that make sense? Yeah. So based on the priority, and basically what goes first is decided by the priority. So you can look at the priority and the list. I believe Brother Omar said that he listed the highest priorities on top. So yeah, you can do it. And obviously, since we're using XP, we can always at every iteration we can come and reassess and make changes and add things or remove things. So it's very flexible.
Right. If something's taking requires more time, or if we finished early, we can adjust, inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, inshallah. So I think we are maybe like 17 minutes over time, but Jazakallah khairan, Brother Ahmed, for joining. And I didn't get a chance to thank Brother Umair. Brother Umair, Jazakallah khairan if you're watching this video later. And also Brother Ayub. And inshallah, we encourage people to join these calls. If you're a developer, a computer scientist, or an engineer, or any, if you there's something that you have which you think will be helpful to this project, please contact us, and we'll get to know each other, and we can start joining these calls and contributing to the Go Code Base as well. This is basically an open call, inshallah. And Jazakumullah khairan again for watching, and this is turning out to be a show.
We're going in and out of character,
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So Brother Ahmed, if you don't have any questions, I think we can call, end the call.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. That's all from me.
Barakallah fikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Have a good night. Wa alaikum assalam.